Hello everybody, the Lord Root here, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Cities. So, this is actually, all recorded mostly within the same couple of days. I've been doing a bunch of recording just for the reason that I have a conference coming up, and I would like to take care of some of this as soon as possible. We actually do happen to have, lots of room for expansion here, but, I was beginning to think that, we have places to expand into, and where we expand into is really up to us. We have some oil here. We have some places for, shipping and all that good jazz, but, I would like to, oil right here in fact, I'd like to hit every major resource, and this area in particular is going to be good because if we go to our info view, look at the resources, this area right here is perfect for expansion, or so it would seem. We want these little areas around the corner to do oil, and we can't, or not oil, but ore, rather. We can do that, but we need to expand. And to expand, probably want jobs. So, industrial demand is the highest right now. And that's really where we should start out. Now, I had not really thought about a couple of things here, though. Mainly, we have this issue to where we have no capability of really switching between these roads very easily. That is, I guess we could technically get this set up so that, there's, people will be able to easily do this, but I'm going to use a trick that I've learned. Because right now we are sort of in trouble with the whole traffic situation here. Ideally, what I want to do here is I want to create a roundabout. And, I guess I already knew part of that trick, but that roundabout is not going to be simple to create. We need lots of places to expand into. Because these guys here are going to have trouble otherwise, so, we'll do what we normally do with this. I'm going to turn on the curved road and try to make this a little bit more compact than it usually is. It will not be the most perfect roundabout by any means. But it'll do nicely. And what it'll allow us to do is it will allow us to free up this area here. We'll just kill all of this here. And maybe we'll, we'll have these guys possibly turning around up here. This is a good start for a roundabout, because we do want these people to be able to turn in whenever possible. Now, we could potentially solve our traffic issues in the following manner. These guys will turn around here. And come up around, so... You know, they'll come up here, maybe. Like so. We'll make a left turn. And then turn back over here. Back into this place. So this will allow us to get past one or two of these issues here. And then with any amount of luck, what we'll be able to do here is we'll be able to get these guys to turn in. Come up here. The question is, what is the space occupied by? And is there a way around it? Well, we could definitely... Turning into a bridge here seems to be really, like a really bad idea. So I don't think I'll do that. I think what I'll do instead is I will come back around here. Like so. And this is the difficulty with this, is that we do want that train line. We can maybe go around it, so... But we'll want these guys to be able to get back on the highway. They can, of course, turn up like this, maybe. But in reality, that may not work so well for us. So I'm gonna have to bite the bullet here, I think, and have us maybe turn around like this, maybe build a bridge over that. And then we can get rid of this guy here. And now, unfortunately, we'll be going the wrong way, I think. It'll make people kind of unhappy if we do it that way. But it'll give them a place to come out here, and this will now allow us to connect these guys up, like so. It's a bit of a hack to do it this way, but really the only way that I can think of that we can accommodate these different areas here. Because we want people to be on this bridge if they're going to be traveling over here. And if we can get them over here, I'll be just happy with that. It's of course going to tell us that the space is already occupied. And we cannot connect to that. So, I think the way I'm going to handle this eventually is that this will be, we will have an outer concentric circle out here. And that will utilize that to get ourselves around. The question is, if that's occupied, what's it occupied by? So there we go. For now, I believe we are possibly settled, except for the one exception that this ramp needs to change direction. And we should be good. We'll put it on fast forward now. And now we are out of power. Possibly because... Look at the power here. We do have a brownout, but I think it's more because of the fact that there's no connection here. Everybody should have power now. And we'll be sitting on the threshold of that soon. Now, this is 1200 for this guy here, so, you know, we'll need to be careful. I think that extra 13 kilowatts is going to be good. Interesting thing about green energy, by the way. Oh. Well, you know, well, you wouldn't maybe think it. There is this one issue where, oh, they're complaining about the power that I just fixed. Oh, there goes our industrial demand, by the way. But, you know, green energy is not exactly the easiest thing to support. And there's actually a reason for that. You see, with green energy, you still do have casualties to wildlife because they fly rather into wind turbines and everything like that. And, you know, making safe green energy that's safe for wildlife is not the easiest thing in the world to do. It's certainly not the hardest thing to do. And we're somehow missing, you know, we're missing the ability to create stuff around here, so I'm going to extend this out just a little bit, using what we have. Oh, we don't want to upgrade. That would be a downgrade. We did that. But yeah, I mean, there are safety ramifications to green energy that needs to be considered. Probably the one that's most likely to succeed in the absence of nuclear fusion is, strangely enough, nuclear fission power. But it's hard to sell nuclear fission to people, because they sort of get images of Hiroshima. So, you know, you've got this whole catch-22, where, on the one hand, yes, it is quite, you know, it's quite nice to be able to have nuclear energy. If you could just get people to maybe think of it as maybe not so much as a, you know, I was going to say maybe to have an association with nuclear weapons. Because, funny thing is that because of Hiroshima, whenever people hear the word nuclear, it usually is something that they are quite bothered by. So as an example, there's this form of imaging called nuclear magnetic resonance, NMR. And we know it today as MRI. The reason that the name changed, as it turns out, happens to be due to the fact that whenever patients heard of NMR, their first reaction was that the doctors were trying to maybe poison them, maybe nuke them, something along those lines. So they people hear the word nuclear and they go bananas, and it's unfortunate because nobody objects to NMR on the grounds that it's, it uses nuclear magnetic resonance. Not if they don't know about it, that is. So it's a, rather depressing thing, I suppose, if you're at all worried about that. Anyway, we need to create more in the way of jobs, and that is precisely what I'm doing. Now, I know politicians say that all the time. I'm creating jobs. And as a mayor, I am, by definition, a politician. That's another interesting thing, come to think of it. There is this sort of aversion to GMO, thanks to that tweet. I just thought about that. And I think there's some things we should be afraid of when it comes to GMO, but it's not the things that people generally think of. When I think of GMO, I'm more worried about the diversity of our biome, for really no other reason than the fact that diversity allows for, plants, for instance, to survive diseases. And just as an example of, I suppose, how that sort of thing could go. Just think about the fact for a moment that people with sickle cell anemia are resistant to malaria. Even, inheriting the gene that causes sickle cell anemia, even being recessive but having the gene, does afford some resistance to it. So you can never really tell what sort of biological diversity will be helpful. Now, of course, with GMOs, we are playing a bit of a risk in the sense that it's more in the sense that we might introduce an invasive species. But that's certainly something to worry about, because invasive species do tend to ruin the ecosystems around them, and that's not really a good thing to have happen. But at the same time, we should be fairly what we should be concerned about when it comes to GMOs is more the fact that not so much that it'll cause genetic diseases. I mean, there is the possibility that you could have I suppose you might have a genetic disease out of it, but there's no reason in principle to think that that would be the outcome. Anyway, speaking of the environment, we're still good on our trash, and before too long, we will hopefully get an incinerator. We've been lucky so far, simply because of the fact that we haven't really had to deal too much with issues related to density. But you can see we're already beginning to fill up here, and I do need to do some more zoning. Residential demand has gone up, and I guess it just happens to be that time of the month. I've come to the conclusion that these people are bothered more by, really more by the fact that I've got the logging industry going here. We're at the point where two commercial demands needs to be taken care of. Because commercial demand is pretty high up there. Apparently, we have great demand for power. Let's see what our power utilization is like. Do another thing here. We want our the way that we want to do this is that we want to have eventually, I think we're going to have these high energy output areas here. And I'm thinking maybe I will alternate, once we get the new zones, between the high density and the low density. Thing we have not done that we need to do here is fill in this gap. And we'll just do something kind of like this to do that. I think really when these guys are confined to their islands like this. Oh, you know what? That's actually a bad idea. Get rid of this for the time being so that nobody decides to build here. Because I do want to reserve these two here for high density if I can hack it. I mean, so far, traffic has been very kind to us. We do not have issues with an undue burden on our traffic. Which is really quite fantastic for us. Just grab that last little bit of land there while we can. So, yeah, the traffic burden here is not too bad. We have abandoned buildings, unfortunately. which might be good for us to take care of. They always complain about education, though, even though, look at our elementary capacity, we're good. We could maybe go for another high school over here. And we'll put it down here, I think. Everybody has access to it. We do want a college on the inner city, though. That is apparent to me. As for this still here, commercial wouldn't be a bad thing to have. I eventually want offices here. If we have commercial on this outer rim, it's not going to kill us. Here, very close here. We just need about 200 more before we can consider high density. And I'm going to do this in stages, I think. Also, before this becomes prime land here, because it will, I am going to dezone this as well. So yeah, a lot of these videos are coming out a little bit later than usual. I'm recording them in succession because of the fact that it really does make a good amount of sense, considering that I have a conference I'm going to. Before too long. Now here we got plenty of good water. Once I unlock this, it's really just a matter of us making our money here. And we're almost at this milestone. Seems like only yesterday. But we will soon have to deal with power issues, and that is not something I look forward to. I mean, ideally, we'll get 3 more people and we can upgrade. So we have land. We have the education boost. And we have new industrial. We also get an incinerator and a university. Which is quite nice. I don't know which I'm going to put in first. I think high density is going to be where it's at. So we'll do that. And eventually all these guys here, once we get enough people moved in, be rezoned high density. But that's where we will begin to see things we really want to see. Anyway, let's start out with an experiment. maybe one like this. For now, everybody is going to be college educated. We certainly have the money for a university. And, you know, we'll be able to do our taxes like this. Now, I'm thinking with this university, that is 75,000. That's most of our money. We'll put it out here, maybe. Maybe not the best place for us, but in fact, I know what to do to make this easier on us. We can do like that. Just take out this little road here. And I will extend this a little bit further. Maybe like that, I think. Well, this is where it gets kind of tricky, because we simply, you know, we don't have much of a way to handle this. Do a little shortcut, I think, and see if we can fit that university in. It looks like our approach to taking curves here has not worked out all that well. So, to fit this guy in, you need to take this out. Everybody now is served by university education. Capacity is for many, many students. And at this point, I'm going to be happy taking a small loan, knowing we still have half of that other loan to pay off. Let's see what happens there. Because I think, you know, we're with this high density housing, we're gonna do pretty well. In fact, we want to set down high density commercial too. In fact, I'm going to completely rezone this. We'll take a small hit of money by doing this. It seems to me to be the best way for us to take care of this commercial issue. It's high density commercial that will ultimately save the day. And there we go. Let's see how that commercial ends up working for us, because we do have plenty of demand for it. And that's the thing, you know, we want plenty of places for people to work. This area, I'm more than certain, being converted to offices. I'm not sure that there is such a thing as farming offices. We'll bring down the pollution just a little bit. We'll get ourselves a little bit of an experiment going. My hope is that everybody will just sort of flock in. And that appears to be a successful bet. We'll alternate between these guys here, I'm gonna do offices down here and commercial up there. We'll also put a commercial zone, or a high-density residential zone here as well. Now for those people who drop out, there's a lot going on here. First of all, elementary school is about at capacity, high school is perfectly fine, and university is way up there. We got plenty of people here utilizing our university system. We may want more. One thing for sure that I want to do here is I want to possibly build an incinerator. And that actually does, I believe, increase our power availability some. Because you can put turbines in an incinerator. Who knew? Let's not bulldoze that. Let's just, let's see if we can do something to ease this. Hopefully the incinerator will provide jobs of some kind. We can now give these things a name. I think we can name this something like, Illuminati Memorial Incinerator. Incinerator. Pollution has begun going down. And that's a mighty good thing, if you ask me. We are still in very high demand for commercial. Let's see what our power is like. We're still good on power. Water is still quite nice. We are incinerating more garbage than we are taking in. People seem to be relatively happy. Even the offices. But, you know, we got other things like health. Healthcare is doing just fine. Our land value is going up very slightly. I think we can possibly do other things here. Main thing is once we get these guys moved in, because we do want that extra land. And I think in fact we'll buy that now, because this will give us access to all of our major industries. And then, you know, we'll be able to move forward with this. Again, there's a 9x9 restriction on this. I believe it is, you know, it's not too bad. Garland Heights can certainly deal with some of this. We are very, very close to that, though. Let's see what we get out of it. We get a number of things, including trains and hydro plants. And that'll be quite useful for us, because we do need a place where distribution can occur. I believe we also have metro stations that we can deal with. Demand for commercial is going way up, which is somewhat to be expected here. And it'll again go up once we continue our making these guys do their thing. So we'll zone this all commercial, high density commercial in fact. And I think this will work out rather nicely for us. We'll just have to pay attention to what is going on here. I've actually missed a couple of spots. But yes, let's do high density commercial. And let's let these people do their thing. Eventually trash will be a concern that we can no longer shirk. And that's something that we will have to think about in the future. You know, we are losing a small amount of money. And partially the trash is the reason for it. Now, Inner Elysium. Whoa. Traffic jams out the wazoo here. Is there anything we can do about that? I think it's because everybody is trying to turn here. And we need some alternate routes. And the lack of workers is causing issues here as well. Let me just see how we are on time. About another 10 minutes or so, I think we'll do it. If we can just go here to dezone. We got the metro stations that we can put in that very nice for us. We want this guy up here as well. Let's take a look at our power consumption here, because believe it or not, I'm quite worried about power consumption. It's not the easiest thing, even at this stage of the game, for us to take care of, and you know, one thing that it seems like out is hydroelectric at this point, because at least not unless we can construct a couple dams. Can't really, there's really nothing for us to prop the dam up against. It's too flat. And again, maybe we could. And people do love their, they do love their hydroelectric power. If we can get this up to about 7,000 or so, we'll be making the gravy. In fact, we're already pretty close to it. We just need to support a large number of people who want to move, you know, into the city, because I haven't imposed any restrictions on it so far. I know I said I wanted it to be a dystopia, but it's just not turning out that way. It seems that creating a dystopia is really quite difficult, shall I say, to do. Because part of the deal is, you know, in a dystopia, people are fundamentally unhappy. And I seem to not be doing a very good job of making people fundamentally unhappy. Let's see, how much more do we have to go on this? Well, we haven't too many people, and this high density area will help. I am a little bit disappointed with the way this is going here, though. I really hope to make more use of this. Maybe if we could have a major firehouse here. It could be interesting. I'm trying to decide between, you know, a hospital I think would be good for us. But nobody is really bothered by the hospital. What about fire coverage? Let's even take a look at traffic. Now this area here is overburdened with traffic. And there needs to be a way around that, because I think everybody wants into the same place at once. that's fundamentally a problem. It would be good maybe for us to something kind of like this. And there will be slight objections to it. I think by connecting these people this way, we'll be okay. Unfortunately, that does have some implications on the train. That is jutting out of that. I mean, maybe we will find a way to deal with this, because I'm beginning to, the hope is that maybe there will be some sort of relief here as people cross that bridge. And we are now a small city. We maybe have some issues here to where we want to consider maybe banning trucks and everything like that. But, that allows us to look into the future, where we now have crematoria and waste treatment. And I guess it's really up to us where we decide we want to expand next. But, I'm gonna end it here, I believe. So this has been the Illuminator Roots, and I will see you later.